You see beaming, happy faces here. There's a reason why. Because Kanishk Seth and I are speaking again today. Kanishk, welcome. I mean, it's been 1.5 years since I last spoke to you, and
Yeah,
look at the success of the colors of the success of Rangi Sari showing up on your face. You're clearly smiling ear to ear. But that's also because apart from Rangi Sari, you have successfully now released two beautiful EPs, both diametrically opposite in terms of composition, in terms of aesthetics.
right.
On one end, there's a very ruminating and liberating Surmayi, which I absolutely love. And now we have motion, emotion, which I think kind of forays into a darker space. There is a lot more doom and gloom, if I may say, to a certain extent, that kind of spills into
Yeah,
the album. um,
yeah.
both very both very opposite from each other in terms of so many things. So before we get talking into that, firstly I want to begin by asking you, how have you been?
I've been amazing. So I remember the last time we were speaking, I think we were discussing about um,
Ki jana.
about Kijana, yes. And a fun fact, I think, Joe, I think it's not at it's not yet out now, but like that song is being featured in a film as well. So that might come soon. But that's a slightly different version. But yeah, indie music. But it's been great. I think I remember I was in Valencia during that time when we
Yeah.
had done the interview. So it's been a year for me as well, being in India, working on different projects and exploring more independent music. And I've been collaborating a lot with a
Yeah.
lot of different independent artists. Yes, you'll actually get to see a lot of indie music in the next coming months. And काफी कुछ release शायद इस साल होगा भी नहीं, but I've collaborated with a lot. And I think मेरा approach अब यही है to make a mark probably in the indie scene. We have to collaborate. We have to work with different people, experiment with different sounds. Obviously, we have to make our own sound as well. We have to show that this is what we are, this is what we do. But it's very good to have a good independent atmosphere, independent music atmosphere. We have to be very open, with different kind of music. So that's been there. And I'm been also working on different feature films, so that's also very exciting.
Of course, I mean, rightfully, you spoke about collaborations, and I really feel that, now is really such a great time for more and more artists to collaborate with each other, because the playing ground is the same, the opportunities are the same. Clearly, we have reached a phase now in music where mainstream is, warming up a lot more to independent artists. Synergies are in great sync. Because you spoke about collaborations, I know there is something you're done with Anumita Nadesan, which you're not going to tell us about what it is, because you're also super secretive. But do you want to just
I've actually,
give us a
I've actually,
quick?
I've, no. So Anamita and I, we met in February, I guess,
Hmm.
for something else. We were thinking of making like some original, which is still there. We haven't really touched that, but there was another song that I was working on, so we worked on that. That song is made, it's done, but now it's just with me. I'm trying to see, इस गाने का क्या अच्छा future हो सकता है. But apart from Anamita, I've collaborated with Aanchal Srivastava, and she's a
Oh,
great, she has a great voice. It's a great song also. Something might come out soon with Shasha Tirupati and Sangeeta Bhattacharya.
oh
So
my God. So you are
I've,
collaborating with the women.
yeah. No.
The new lady's favorite has arrived.
Oh God. I was about to say one more artist's name, but I think I would. Bobby, she's also female only, um,
Wow. Let
but
us know who is it.
it's Chitralekha
Okay.
Sen.
Okay.
Uh, so that's a very interesting track as well. So काफी अलग-अलग, काफी diverse work है, and I've been working with Shubhi a lot. Shubhi is
Subhi, yeah.
uh, yeah, from Chicago. She does both in Hindi and English. So uh, we've worked on a couple of tracks before. So I majorly produce for her. But I've also sung a bit in this one. It's a beautiful song. I think we, we she's a great artist as well. So it's fun. It's fun, collaborating with a lot of artists. Yeah.
Well, since you spoke about Anshul Srivastav, I think it's only fitting that we just revisit the Yatra to Hindustan initiative that you just did with her and Vidya Gopal.
Right.
Firstly, how was the experience of doing that with these two really accomplished and amazing women?
I mean, I have only love and respect for Anchal and Vidya. I mean, they're amazing, wonderful voices. And it was very different for me because I'd never done like a house gig with acoustic setup. I've done all kinds of gigs when I was kind of, exploring into the live scene.
Hmm.
I tried performing at cafes, not your barbecue nation types, like as in where no, I've not done
Yeah.
covers or something where people are not really listening to you.
Hmm.
I like book cafes where there's like specially curated music
Yeah.
sessions, like very limited audience, like 50. I've done for community centers, college performances, and so I've explored all kinds of venues, and I've also done house gigs
Yeah.
before, and I recently did one as well because I fell in love with the hosts, and I just thought it's such a good concept to just call like-minded people and perform. But I've always done electronic music with Indian classical vocals and instruments. So, and because that's been my music so far, it's fusion music, I would say. But this was very different because performing acoustic was, मेरी थोड़ी हिचक थी कि मैं कैसे करूँगा, but I did a very brief set, but we had a great time. बहुत अच्छे लोग आए थे, and we I think performed for all of us. हमारा पूरा set 1.5 hours का था. After the show, also we were just jamming with like the audience members,
Yeah.
and they were also singing. So that was a very fun.
I saw brief videos and stories, from your account where people
Yeah.
are, आपका set खत्म हो चुका है, but फिर भी लोग बैठे हैं and they're
Yeah.
just singing along with you. I think
Yes.
there can't be a more gratifying feeling than that.
Absolutely, absolutely. बहुत अच्छा था. I hope they continue with more editions, with more artists, because सबको जुड़ना जरूरी है.
The last time when you and I and ma'am had connected, when to discuss Kijana, I remember you had just finished. You had just returned to Mumbai from the Valencia campus of Berkeley School, where
Yeah.
you, of course, you
Yes.
studied music production and engineering. You've come back, and since then you have been working non-stop. Like I can literally tell, with the kind of work that you have already, kind of rolled out in 2022. Of course, to begin with Surmayi, although it explores the gray, the in-betweens, on various grounds.
Right.
But still, there's something so much liberating and very I think very, very kind of enlightening about how that album plays out, because you both ma'am and you, I believe, are very, very poetically inclined. So there is Baba, y'all are very inspired by the works of Baba Bulle Shah Ji. And
Yes.
there's also, a huge influence of the works by Fez in
Yeah.
Surmayi. So
Yeah.
before we get into talking about everything else, let's kind of revisit Surmayi. Why was
Sure.
that a story or a narrative that you wanted to tell?
Right. So I think the whole concept of Surmayi started while I was doing my master's
Yeah.
at Berkeley. So this was actually supposed to be my master's, sorry, my final project for my master's. So everyone was doing different things, and I thought, since I've come here and they were teaching me different stuff about music production, sound designing, engineering, and mixing, mastering, and even video production, I just thought, why don't I venture into everything? And because my future is anyway into music production, composition, everything, and I'm also very much inclined towards making films. So why don't I make everything by myself? So as a concept, making an EP as a final project is, it's considered to be like an easy thing. It's not considered to be like, okay, it's a very difficult thing. But this was very difficult for me because a lot of people were also making EPs, but some people were making some hardware stuff. So that was also, as a concept wise, you see, it's very challenging to do in a matter of 10-11 months, where you also have to do so many other subjects. But this was very challenging because making a video is not easy, and that too at a standard where it comes off as a unique video by itself, and you're also trying to make a statement. So I firstly had to explore a theme. And I was seeing my work, that what I'd done so far, animation and very colorful videos. I thought, I have to find something, some synergy into it. So then I thought of this idea that, I want to venture into black and white visually. And then I explored the concept of duality as well. Visually, I'm using two elements. Musically also, I'm blending two elements, which is the Western and Eastern, like electronic music and Indian classical.
Yeah.
So this, came together really well. And when I pitched it to my program director and my teachers and professors over there, they really liked it. Like, sure, go ahead, do it. So it was a very, very challenging project because इसमें से एक composition जो 3 गाने थे इसमें, तो 3 गाने अलग अलग पोइट्स के थे. साचा साहिब कबीरदास जी का है, बाबा बुल्ले शाह का उल्टे हो ज़माने, एंड आपकी याद was written by Faiz Ahmed Faiz. So I was very drawn towards their poetry, and I thought I really want to produce them. Sacha Sahib was already composed by my mother, but I really wanted to produce it. And मुझे ऐसा लग रहा था मैं उस स्टेज पे आ गया हूँ where I can really experiment, and I was surrounded by such great musicians. I thought this is my time to experiment, also refine my sound even more, and reach to a stage where I can craft something very beautiful. So I had the time and explore some really unique sounds. So I think the first song that I produced was Sacha Sahib during
actually, because I don't think so. I don't think so. Many people really know this. Sacha Sahib, especially getting Javed Bashir ji to sing. I think this happened quite some years ago. I think about 8 years ago. The song was when it was already sung. Bashir ji sang it for Ma'am, and I think bringing in Ma'am's vocals was something that came in much later. And
absolutely.
Yeah. Do you want to elaborate on it?
Yeah, absolutely. So he had actually come through a recording here in India for some film project, and Mom and Javed ji, they were already in talks before, and so she just invited him over, like, we would love to have you to our place. And so we have our own home studio. So we were just, Mom was singing something, Javed ji was singing something, then she just politely asked him if he'd like to sing something, one of her compositions, which was Sacha Sahib. So I was a little kid. I was just I was like, ठीक है, मैं record करता हूँ. मैंने record किया, and वो बस गा रहे हैं with with a decent mic. I wouldn't say it was a studio mic for recordings. It was a good mic, which I usually use for live performances. So he was using that and doing improvisations, and that was the final vocal that I used for Sacha Sahib, because उनकी आवाज में इतनी तैयारी है. और मैं जब मुझे याद है मैं रिकॉर्ड कर रहा था, मैं सोचा था ये मैं क्या सुन रहा हूँ. मतलब हम सब हक्के बक्के रह गए थे, मतलब मैं और मॉम की, हमने क्या सुन लिया. एंड आई रिमेम्बर व्हेन, so we had his voice, and
Yeah.
you know बस track नहीं बना हुआ था. I was also in college. I was trying to focus more, you know, towards my college life. I wouldn't say studies. I would particularly say I wanted to enjoy my college life, so I was doing that. But I was, मतलब music भी बना रहा था, but wasn't like, you know, full-fledgedly. So वो गाना बस रह गया था. But when I started performing live, right after my college, I was performing this song as well. So we were actually singing his variations that he had done, you know, like in one go. So just, you know, you just think about it. Somebody जो बस एक ऐसे variations करता है, उसका impact आपके ऊपर इतने सालों तक रहता है, और आप वही live में perform कर रहे हो हर बार, exactly like the way he did. So वो गाना बस गया था मेरे अंदर, और मैं हमेशा से चाहता था कि मैं इसको बहुत अच्छे से प्रोड्यूस करूं. So this was the first one that we produced, that I produced during my time, and then I did Aapki Yaad, then I did Ulte Ho Zamane, and I was very fortunate to, you know, collaborate with different musicians जो दुनिया भर से आए थे. And while that was happening, I also had to schedule my time so that I could direct, you know, all videos.
Yeah, I think
So
that we must further elaborate on you know, your directorial debut in a way, with
yeah,
the way you conceptualized and executed the music videos of both Ulte Ho
right.
Zamane and Aapki Yaad. So why
Yeah,
did you take that plunge to why did you, or rather should I ask, why did you decide to take to the director's chair?
because I always wanted to. Like मुझे ऐसा लगता है काफी सारे independent artists, जब क्योंकि you know I think आजकल लोग गाने देखते हैं.
हाँ.
And obviously we go to Spotify, we listen to it, but we need a solid visual content to support our audio. And you know, this thing always, I've been a believer of this, and I also been a huge movie buff. And मतलब I've been into filmmaking बचपन से, photography का भी काफी शौक रहा है. So I always thought कि it's good to be, you know, to do this by yourself when you know you don't have enough budgets to make your own video, पर आपका scale बड़ा है या scale जैसा भी है. तो मेरे हिसाब से I know it's difficult for every independent artist to do everything, but I would suggest they should try it. सबको कोशिश करनी चाहिए कुछ करने की. मतलब obviously you need people to, you know, you need a team to do it well, but at least एक गाना, at least एक बार सब कुछ try करना चाहिए, because then they know how everything happens, and you're not, आपको कोई fool नहीं कर सकता आप जिसके साथ भी collaborate करते हो, because you know every step, and you know then you're more involved creatively also. So and then you know everything when you are in everyone's chair. You know when to step in, you know when, you know, कि आपको overstep भी नहीं करना है किसी creativity में. You give them room, but when you're also giving them room, इसका मतलब ये नहीं that you just put everything on them, पूरा onus उन पे ही दे दो कि आप करो, मैं मुझे चलेगा. You should know what's your, you know, your vision, your brand, how you want to position yourself. So I think from those perspectives, everyone should do it. Although I didn't do it from that perspective, I just did it out of sheer love and passion, because मुझे करना ही था. I really wanted to prove also a point to myself कि मैं सब कुछ कर सकता हूँ. So it was one of those projects where, you know, I wanted to prove a point. Yes, I can direct. Yes, I can mix master my own songs. I've produced all my songs. I've also sung in most, I think तीनों में ही साजा साहिब पे end में गया है, but like that was the skill that I wanted to prove it to myself. So that's what I did. But when I completed the project, Surmayi ka, I really wanted, मैंने बहुत लोगों को सुनाया था, and I wanted to take like a review कि which is that one song you think I should come out with, and which is that, you know, song जो सबसे ज़्यादा लोगों को पसंद आ रहा है. So I mean, मेरे लिए तो सब बहुत करीब थे, but a lot of people were talking about Sacha Sahib because it was featuring Mom, Javed Bashir ji, and also the track का dynamic जो था, वो बहुत ही interesting बन गया था. So then I thought
the difference only, the way both Ma'am and Bashir ji's you know, the vocal, the way they, you know, they create that synergy amongst themselves. I think it's absolutely it's supremacy. It's sheer genius. I don't think
Yeah.
so. It's just like some energies when they collaborate with one another. It's just pure
Yeah.
magic, and I don't think anything else can be said further.
Yeah. So I mean, when जब ये मुझे पता लगा, so I decided that okay, I have to make a good video as well, क्योंकि मैंने जो बनाया था,
Yeah,
it had some limitations to it, but then I thought this can really have like a really kick-ass black and white animated video. So then I met these two people, Shikha Sharma and Aditya Panikar.
yeah,
So somebody introduced me to them, and I really enjoyed their work. So it was a very, very nice collaborative process with them. It took us roughly 2 months to make it, but the kind of work that they, the video that they made was just outstanding. मतलब मैं बहुत ही proudly कह सकता हूँ that's my best video. Even like I like Rangi Saari, but like
yeah.
this is like much better than than that video. So I'm really fond of that work, even though it hasn't received that many numbers as that one, but I'm so like जिसको भी मैंने सुना है गाना, everyone has just सबके पास बस अच्छी ही चीजें हैं उसके लिए, वरना with Rangi Sari a lot of people initially were like, oh, this is that, although everyone really liked it, but something or the other, like
Yeah.
इस गाने में एक गुंजाइश भी नहीं छोड़ी है जहाँ पे लोग कुछ बोले. So I was very happy with the outcome, and a lot of people then also came on board to support it. Spotify came and they wanted me to feature for their radar program. Rolling Stone did a very special piece about it, and I think it was a great time. February was a great time for me when the song had released. I was on like another high. Wow, people are really liking this song. And then gradually I released another song, Aapki Yaad, which was actually my first directorial debut. I really enjoyed working on that as well, and it's a little difficult, when you're featuring yourself and you're guiding your cinematographer. But my cinematographer was also he was actually a fellow Berkeley, he was actually my alumnus, like 1 year senior to me. So he was kind enough to shoot me. And then Ulte Ho Zamane again was a very challenging video because उसमें बहुत चीजें थी. I think this was the first time I'm talking about that video, because that video was very experimental. मतलब मैंने जिंदगी में कभी नहीं सोचा था कि मैं उस पॉइंट पे आ जाऊंगा जहाँ पे मैं बहुत सारी चीजें एक्सप्लोर कर रहा हूँ. So this video was actually came somebody in my class so we were learning projection mapping. So like if you have a projector and if you just have to project only a specific area, तो उसपे कैसे करते हैं, how can you come up with interesting visuals and everything. So one of my batchmates tried projecting some visuals on a person's face, and that took me, I'm like, this is amazing, I love this concept. So I wanted to do the same for my music video, and I did it. But when I recorded those visuals, I took into a software, and what I did was basically I was playing around with audio reactivity. But hota kya, for example, if I clap, those visuals were displacing in z-axis. So like my face would basically pop out. Okay. So I thought like this is such a cool thing, and I can generate more visuals with different movements. So that's what I did. I recorded like 15 to 20 videos, then I took into the software and did all of this z-axis thing, audio reactivity motions, and then I recorded those as well, and then I edited and made a narrative. So it was a lot of hours for me to make it, but at the end of the day I was like, ये क्या बना दिया मैं. मुझे भी पता नहीं चल रहा था कि मैं क्या बना रहा हूँ. While I was making, I was trying to make. I don't know if it's a जो भी है, but I'm I'm just happy with the effort
Yeah.
that I put in. You know, like कुछ अलग बना है, कुछ not doing what everyone is doing. So कोशिश हमेशा यही है कि to make something new all the time, and while you're in the scene you're also trying different stuff, because people, मैं लोगों को बिल्कुल भी बेवकूफ नहीं समझता हूँ. जो भी listeners हैं, I think they are very smart, and
Yeah.
everyone is expecting something new out of you, and that's why if you have to explore yourself constantly, and deep down आपकी एक style जो होती है वो आ जाती है जाने अनजाने. So
Yeah.
वो मुझे भी नहीं पता. लोग कहते थे, oh yeah, I can see some elements of you in this. I'm like, how? I thought I was doing something different. But people are they're very intelligent.
Yeah.
And yeah, so that is my vision forward, to keep doing, collaborating with different people. You never know what clicks also
Yeah.
with people. So the more you do, the more you also find a new side of you. So
Absolutely.
yeah, that's been Surmayi for me.
I think, Kanishk, it's actually commendable how with Surma you kind of established that you want to exercise more creative control in whatever you do. And I think that's also somewhere it largely translates into the decisions both you and ma'am took in favor for Rangi Saari. I
Right.
think when the film version came out with the release of Jug Jug Jio, some of your ardent supporters, especially fans who had loved the previous version, the independent version that was released in 2020. Somewhere
Right.
there was a certain criticism also, a very vocal criticism about it on social media, where I remember a music journalist writing about it, saying, why has certain sections of the song been revised and changed to fit a more theatrical narrative. So do you want to kind of put that speculation at bay?
So yeah, I mean, I do remember that comment, and I remember I felt a bit bad as well, because I think I get the point that you're trying to make a point, but the way it was said, that hurt me a bit. But ऐसे फिर बहुत सारे लोग थे जिनको किसी चीज से आपत्ति थी.
Yeah.
And but मुझे like जो ज्यादातर जो लोगों का feedback था was majorly towards the video.
Yeah.
Like the way it was represented with the song. क्योंकि अगर मैं वैसे देखूं, if the song has been altered or changed a lot, it wasn't. Like I would say the song is 70 to 75%. It's almost the same thing.
Yeah.
We didn't change to a very different version, क्योंकि बहुत बड़ा reason ये था क्योंकि एक तो ये गाना जो है, ये composition जो है, ये बहुत पुरानी है और उसको बहुत सारे लोग गाते हुए आ रहे हैं. शुभा गुड्डू जी की वजह से रेंडिशन बहुत फेमस हुई है. फिर हमसे भी पहले like 2020 से भी पहले कितने लोगों ने इसके renditions बनाए. The reason why they wanted to use it because this rendition got very popular.
Yeah.
And it had its own reasons also, because एक तो इसका जो production था बहुत contemporary था. It wasn't too harsh also. Like wasn't supposed to कि आप जाओ, it's for discotheques or something like that. It was, I mean, a good, nice, feel good electronic song, a representation, and some of my own vocal chops जो मैंने थोड़े बहुत introduce करे. So that rendition got popular. So अब the challenge was कि इस rendition को भी हम थोड़ा और कैसे tweak कर सकते हैं to fit into a film. So that was a long process क्योंकि बहुत चीजें आ जाती हैं. इसमें बहुत सारे factors आ जाते हैं because we were also exploring, do we change the lyrics? Do we change what do we change to make it for a film song? Because still अभी भी बहुत सारे ऐसी चीजें हैं जहाँ पे कोई भी आप जैसे कोई इंडिपेंडेंट सॉन्ग अगर रिलीज होता है, अगर उसको फिल्म में यूज करना है, सो बहुत से अभी भी लोग हैं जो सिंक नहीं करते. They are not exactly syncing a song. that you just pay a fee and then they're using it, because the whole system here works very differently than abroad. Your syncs are majorly happening in OTT because there is no music label as of sort which is coming in and putting in a lot of money. When it's a theatrical release, a music label comes in, and then the production house basically, this whatever they are paying to the artist, they sell it to the label. So there was a sync deal here with us, but the objective was to make a new master, make the music slightly different and then give it to Dharma, and then they would be basically giving it to the music label. That's what happens for every other film here. Like the production houses, basically they want the rights of the song, and then they would do whatever they want to, basically, with the song. So when this position came in, it was very tricky because the song was also just 1.5 saal pehle aaya yaar. It's still very new, and you still want to recreate a version of that. So it was a big challenge for me, just because they were very keen that they didn't want to change any vocals. They were like, we love it as it is. We just want to tweak it slightly so that whatever we're imagining as per the choreography, or so us basis pe I had to tweak it a bit. So I got in a bit of Algoza in the beginning, and I had to change that middle section when the music comes in. So that was basically made because of some choreography that Varun, when I'd met Varun, he told me this is that section where all of us would be dancing. So we need something that is more feel good and vibrant, and not to basically the version that you've done before. It's brilliant as it is, but we want something that might go with the choreography. So from that perspective, the song was being made, which can fit, because the song was being made as a promotional song. It's not in the film somewhere in the situation. It comes in the end, after the credits, and it was also promoted as a promotional song. So these were the factors. Azim Dayani, who's the music supervisor. So all of us, we were, ideating a lot. Ki kaise kya kar sakte hai. At the same time, not doing, not changing it entirely, just probably layering a bit here and there.
Yeah.
So I think that was my approach towards the song. I remember ऐसे बोल रहे थे कि why is it being baptized? And I remember this comment. It felt a bit off to me. I was like, I'm not trying to do that. I'm just, trying to make it as per the choreography and as per the situation. I would have loved to, have the song as it is in the film, because that would have been great. I mean, that's every independent artist's dream to, just get the song synced. But yeah, I mean, majorly when if I go on YouTube and if I check the comments, I mean, majorly people are just off about the way it has been shot, and the way लोगों को भी बहुत मतलब ऐसा लगता है कि it's not really going well with the visuals and everything. So I think majorly that's been the comment according to me.
Yeah.
मुझे अभी भी लगता है I'm very yeah. So again, like for the upcoming one, I had to do this, and क्योंकि वही मुझे थोड़ा brief किया गया था कि this is the situation. But again, here in this one as well, it's almost the same.
Yeah.
It's almost the same as the original one, but we had to readapt it as per the film situation. So मुझे कई बार ऐसा लगता है कि like I can I can gauge myself कि कब बहुत ज़्यादा उस extent तक ले गए जहाँ पे कुछ ज़्यादा ही अजीब sound कर रहा है.
Right.
But
right.
I know, but ये भी पता है कि हाँ चलो ये थोड़ा बहुत tweak किया है so that it can be considered as a new master, and then they can sell it to the label and then do whatever they want to with their lives. So मुझे बस with respect to audio, I just felt, I know a lot of people जिनसे भी मैं मिला, they still prefer the original version
Yeah.
because there are many things, I still perform the original version. There is certain attachment to it.
Yeah.
And नया भी सही है, but I just see it as a sync plus new master opportunity. And I thought, yeah, uh, it was a great thing for me personally because it opened lot many doors for me. I'm meeting a lot of directors and people are noticing now. And आपको लगता है आपका गाना इंटरनेट पे चल रहा है और लोग नोटिस कर रहे हैं, बट जब गाना रेडियो पे चलता है या टीवी पे चलता है, वो और जगहों पे जा रहा है. तो हम बस अपने बबल में ही हैं, तुमको लगता है ओ वाओ, वी हैव these many reels and these many streams, so we're doing well. But because of your song being placed in a film, आपकी रीच और बढ़ जाती है.
Yeah.
तो वो एक चीज बहुत अच्छी हुई है. And then people also, when they see, okay, this is a song that was released earlier, okay, let's explore more of his work. So that has helped in a lot of ways. So yeah.
I think rightfully you said so. On the brighter side, when people actually listen to the newer version, but then fall back to the older version, they actually go and look out for the older version. And I think it has translated in the kind of listenership the original song has again gained
Absolutely.
on streaming platforms.
My streamings have basically doubled or tripled since the since the newer one came. So I'm happy. I have no complaints.
But do you think, Kanish, somewhere this criticism also comes from a place where people have, been witness to and being privy to the kind of treatment that musicians at large. I know it's not just about, it's not just the bifurcation between mainstream and independent. Do you think that that's also largely because music in India, especially original music in India is still, I dread to say this, it's treated as a joke. It's not, there's so much of, the commercial instincts have really, chewed and bitten into every little aspect of the way music is made. So do you think that, behind this criticism, there's also a huge sense of concern when somebody is voicing it out?
Yes, absolutely. I think because we are witnessing, a phase, especially in the Hindi film music industry, that, from the last, I think, 4-5 years, we're just witnessing a lot of songs which are being remixed.
Yeah.
And which are not too old also. Because I think उससे भी 10 साल पहले अगर कोई remix भी आता था तो बहुत पुराने गाने का आता था. And जैसे early 2000s में, like, the remix boom that happened was because of Kaanta Laga. And और वो भी पर वो non-film music था. It wasn't a film.
Yeah.
But then this phase is happening and बहुत चीजें अब लोगों को लगता है अब कोई ओरिजिनल गाना ही नहीं आ रहा है किसी फिल्म में. So I think बहुत सारी चीजें हैं जो एक तरीके से कंसर्निंग लग जाती हैं लोगों को कि यार अब तो कोई तो गाने अच्छे आ ही नहीं रहे हैं. बट सही भी है, पर मुझे ऐसा लगता है धीरे धीरे जितना ज्यादा हम इस चीजों को रेगुलेट करते रहेंगे, बिकॉज आई नो ये एक फेज रहेगा भी नहीं इफ वी चेंज certain things within, and only people who are in power, like music label heads and probably producers, they can only bring this. Because we don't really have that much hold to bring in a change, especially in the Hindi film music industry, because that's वही सबसे ज्यादा music consumption India भी करता है. तो जितना ज्यादा जैसे it's not very ideal to compare it with the West, but that's how things work over there. They're not really taking rights of your songs. Even if you're working for a film, you still get royalties after your project. We don't.
Right.
We are just paid like a one-time fee. So I think people wouldn't mind, songs being जो पुराने हैं वो फिल्म में आ जाएंगे, as long as they're well synced and well positioned. We don't mind a good cover, but that cover should all, I mean, जो भी remixes हो रहे हैं, they're just all party numbers. and the objective is from a very marketing perspective कि हाँ भाई ये गाना हर जगह बजेगा, streaming numbers होंगे, उनको पैसा मिलेगा, okay we can show a girl dancing and तो ये approach भी अब and I am witnessing a change,
Yeah.
and especially it's been a blessing in, I wouldn't say not exactly blessing in disguise, but people are aware about the kind of movies they also want to watch. So people are dissing on films since this year and not really going to the theaters to watch because they
Yeah.
know what kind of content now they're like, because they're now so much exposed to such movies, and it's the same with songs also.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, I hope for a better future, and we do get to hear more original albums. But I have a feeling, I have a very strong feeling, this whole music album thing is also going to slightly fail in the Hindi film
future.
industry, or and it will be there, but it won't be like an album जहाँ पे 8
Yeah.
गाने हुआ करते थे. It's anyway
That
reduced to
trend
like
has
an
long gone. That trend has long gone now. We clearly
Yeah.
have 4 or 5 max. And that
Yeah,
too
4
with the 4-5 tracks of barely 3 minutes max. No, it's not even a 4 or 5 minute song anymore. Yeah.
So we are already witnessing like धीरे धीरे और shrink हो रहा है, और अब लोगों को बस they want to see good stories.
Right.
And अगर वही सीन है तो गानों का क्या, like सिर्फ songs का क्या importance रह जाएगा. Maybe I don't know how many years इसको कितने लगेंगे, but फिर वही है, then we should expect more. अगर आपको use ही करना है, use it well and use it as a sync, where you're using the song really well. Like Bahar, for comedy movies, they use the songs in such a nice way, and the way they edit the visuals also to pop songs.
Right.
And it's so much fun watching those things. So I hope that thing comes up. So इस way में लोग independent music को obviously और importance देंगे, and everything will kind of just shift towards there. But this will take a bit time. Everything has to work in tandem, और या तो कुछ इवेंट बड़ा सा हो जाएगा जहाँ पे सब पूरा फोकस चेंज हो जाएगा.
Well,
which basically because of pandemic, basically pandemic की वजह से जो सब कुछ हुआ है. So yeah.
No, I think you rightly said, because of the pandemic, there's been a huge paradigm shift in the sensibilities of the audience. Of course, we spoke about how little to no films are working right now, and that's largely because, like you rightly said, whether it's film or whether it's music, I think somewhere the pandemic has widely changed the sensibilities of the audience at large, because the OTT really flourished and boomed during the pandemic, and given the kind of content, given the kind of music that was being released during the pandemic, clearly the audience's sensibilities have changed, and which is a good thing, because somewhere it gives hope to people like you and me who have always wanted original and homegrown content to flourish. It gives hope to us that abhi apna time aa gaya hai, in a way.
Yeah. Like I remember the last album that I really enjoyed listening to was that too with the film. Was Man Marziya. I think that was the best film जिसमें गानों का बहुत अच्छा यूज भी हुआ है. And you don't feel like skipping it. Okay, अब गाना आ गया, चलो I'll skip it. This is like a promotional song, and I know हर फिल्म में 2-3 गाने होने चाहिए, तो ये डाल दे. So
but that too in a time like in a time where recreations and remixes had plagued the music industry. You have a music director like Mr. Amit Trivedi who comes up with a 14-track album in Man Marziya.
Yeah.
So it was
exactly. So I think let's see where things head.
Hopefully, it just gets better from here on. But coming to your latest EP, Motion Emotion, which at the start of the interview I kind of mentioned that there is a darker, much more mystical. Somewhere this is very I would say this is not the happier or the more ruminating side of yours that you have explored in your conversation, in your composition so far. But
Right.
there's this element of yours that I think you want to bring it out. You want to showcase to the world that okay, listen, there is a darker side of me that exists. Is that a fair assumption?
No, I didn't make it. I didn't make it because there's a darker side of me, and people
Yeah.
should. I am just, so these tracks were actually part of my sound design assignments when I
Oh,
was doing my masters. Yes. So while I was making them, I realized ये तो बहुत अच्छे बन गए हैं. And my objective of making मैं जब ये बना रहा था, so there were like different criteria जिसके लिए हिसाब से मुझे बनाना था. But I wanted to get a theme in सब में. So I listened to a lot of music made by Trent Reznor and Atticus Ross. They've done music for The Social Network and Gone Girl, and they also have a band called Nine Inch Nails. So, but that music is very different, but like just their score, where they're exploring ambient electronic music at the same time, very analog, but also a bit of noise music. So, I just, मतलब वो मेरी inspiration थे while making this, EP. So, although I wasn't making it, कि हाँ मुझे EP बनानी है, I was just making assignments. So, but then जब बन गया, I realized okay, they have certain commonality in them. But एक चीज ये थी when I was producing every track in this one, I was visualizing everything. I was visualizing something like with the title track Motion Emotion. I was always imagining like a high intense action thriller scene. So jitne bhi agar if you can place these tracks in a film, they will go really well. So they're more of, I would say, like a soundtrack, like of a film, and you can easily place them. But this was something that I really wanted to explore, like just a lot of granular synthesis and कि मतलब एक sound है तो उसको कैसे stretch करके कैसे sound करता है, and using different the sound designing techniques. So I definitely wanted to bring out more grit and more और grunge वो लेके आना था इसमें, जो कि पहले अब तक के सारे गानों में explore नहीं किया था. And since this was just purely musical, I wanted to, I had more liberty in doing whatever I can do basically. So yeah, that's been my journey for this one. And मुझे एक और चीज इंटरेस्टिंग याद आ रही है जो I think I should tell everybody
please.
here who are watching this. But so the artwork that's there for this EP is made through an AI tool called Mid Journey. So
Wow.
there's been a huge debate about it. I think recently someone also participated in like some art competition. He made
Okay.
like an artwork through this AI tool and won as well.
Okay.
Like, and there was like this huge criticism ki, where are we heading? Is AI really the future? And is this where we should be heading? And should we use it or not? I think it's a great tool. I think it's a great tool to explore art, and great things to get explore just imagination अगर आप lack कर रहे हो थोड़ी, and especially when you're not getting designers to make your art, and maybe you can just make it through Mid Journey. So that was also very interesting. इसलिए मैं ये सोचा था कि everything is so like this entire thing is like a digital thing that I've made. Like music is also, except there were analog synthesizers, but yeah, it's been a nice step to do this. I don't know if, and I would love to know more people who have made AI artworks in India. Would love to collaborate. Let's see.
Clearly, Kanishk, you're a person who wants to don many hats, and I think it's not about donning hats. I think it's about being as much self-reliant as you can, and
Yeah.
still deliver the best music that you do. Coming to your personal front, Kanishk, I think congratulations are in order. You also got engaged this year,
Yeah.
and
Yes.
very recently you also celebrated, you know, Kavita ma'am's birthday. And
Yes.
like you rightly said at the start of the interview, that there are multiple collaborations with, women artists in the industry. What do you learn from all these amazing women? The presence of such amazing feminine energy around you. Um,
Right.
what is it that you learn about femininity and womanhood that really inspires you as a person?
I think, मतलब सबसे ज़्यादा तो just I collaborated with my mother a lot, so
Yeah,
उनसे तो like I don't know. It's a very good question. I've just always seen artists. I've never seen them as like male
individual.
artists. So yeah, just like great artists, and they have so much to offer. So it wasn't like, okay, I'm doing this from that perspective. Although I've seen a lot in this circuit that a lot of people just want to collaborate with their own circle, and they don't want to get out of
Step
that
out of it.
circle. So
Yeah.
so which is a bit वैसा लगता है, okay, everyone's just making their own cliques, which is a bit and that happens genre wise also, and also a lot of male artists just want to work with male artists only. But I think मेरे साथ उल्टा हो रहा है. I think I have to work with a lot of male artists, considering the future releases now. But it's but I mean, jokes aside, but I think सारे गाने बहुत interesting हैं, and everyone has so much to offer in their own style. Like Chitralekha has a great background with Rajasthani music. She's also doing a lot of other stuff, but Shasha is like a phenomenal singer, such a great,
Absolutely.
so very versatile, and Sangeeta has a beautiful voice again, and Achal की अपनी personality है. So it's nice to see different flavors, and just also I'm also kind of in this way also showing, okay, I can do this also, I can do this also. So in one project I'm singing, the other project I'm producing, and that's what's happening. So it's a lot of fun.
Well, all I can say is, Kanishk, it's been truly a momentous journey so far for you from the time you begin. And I
Yeah,
think through the course of this interview, I have just discovered a lot more confident, a lot more very, very sufficient and very, very independent voice and a mind behind all the wonderful creations that you make. And I'm so happy to have had this chat with you. Thank you so
same.
much once again for talking
Thank
to me,
you.
Kanishk. And
Thank you.
hopefully next time it's not because of Zoom. Hopefully next time, whenever in the future it happens, we
Yes,
meet in person. Um,
absolutely.
because
Absolutely.
whenever I talk to you and ma'am, it always feels like I'm talking to an extended family,
Oh,
of
that's
my
sweet.
own. So thank you so much once again.
Thank you. Thank you so much.